And there we see it. And as you can tell, Riccardo is very happy winning the dice roll when you are on the Drytron strategy. And yes, indeed, you're reading correctly. Drytron undefeated 4-0 here in this tournament currently.
And lately, there has been a trend towards going for a Dark Magician Chaos, Dark Magician Max.
Yes.
To basically stop your opponent from activating effects on their turn. But Riccardo isn't even playing that,
No,
right?
He's like playing a pretty basic build. He's returning to the original way of playing the deck by including the Herald of Perfection. And that's like the only boss monster I want to say that he's kind of ending on. And besides that, he's just going for some more extra deck stuff. For example, Appaloosa is probably going to be on his field if he's comboing off. And a bunch of other Link monsters like IP Masquerena and stuff. SP Little Knight, of course, is also a nice addition that he can go for. But first of all, we start with preparation of rides, and he immediately grabbed the Herald that I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Herald of Perfection is pretty much the only boss monster you need, isn't it? It can negate any number of cards, so long as you have a fairy for each one.
Okay, and he starts off with one of the one-off Drytron monsters he's playing, and it's Drytron Delta Altace. And he has also opened the Cyber Angel Benton. I mean, he could have also switched it with the preparation of rights, but he already had it available to himself. So the Delta itself is not going to do that much, but of course the Benton now is going to activate its effect in the graveyard, searching a fairy from his deck, and he decided that he wants Diviner of the Herald here.
I'd love to see him just send a Kelbeck off the Diviner.
That would be pretty cool, but I don't think that's going to happen, no. Usually.
Diviner of the Herald has been an absolute staple in every kind of ritual deck, and of course also in tier element decks for some reason. And now we're going to see the best normal summon for each ritual deck. It was Manju of the Thousand Hands.
Some years ago, yeah, some years ago indeed.
It has a sort of similar effect of, I mean, in a roundabout way, it adds you pretty much any ritual monster or spell, but the upside of this obviously is you get a level 6 tuner.
Ooh, look at that. I mean, we are usually going to send the Herald here in this version of the deck, so we're usually not sending from our deck. I don't even know whether there's a target he could send from the deck, but he's instead sending the Herald of Arclight, and therefore he's able to search himself either a ritual monster or a ritual spell card, and he did indeed go for the ritual spell card for the Dawn of the Herald, interestingly enough. So I think he just wants to make sure to have that Herald on the field as soon as possible so he can negate some other stuff. And now the Dawn of the Herald in the graveyard triggers to get him the Benton back to his hand. That's huge.
I think it was also chained to the Benton effect already. Kind of like that interaction.
Oh.
And that is a lot of interaction already.
Indeed. Kazalac is not happy looking right now.
I mean, the Herald is just a fairy, right? They're all the same. Once you have a Herald of Perfection in play, it kind of perfects all of your other fairies.
Yeah. He's now building around that one card that he already has on the field. And I mean, he played around Nibiru here perfectly well, because Nibiru this weekend seems very popular. And I want to say in almost all of our featured matches so far, we have seen Nibiru, and a lot of players are running it at least in a side deck, and a lot of them even in the main deck. But Nibiru not a factor here anymore.
Is this the end for Riccardo?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Maybe it's also the start of something bigger.
It is, though. We are passing it over. Riccardo did not have access to Alpha or Beta in terms of his Drytron monsters, and therefore he has to just pass on IP Masquerena and the Herald. Interesting.
How many fairies do you think he's got? He's got at least Ben-10 and Herald, which he's added, and then I don't know any more.
Yeah, I don't know any more either.
We're pointing at the IP Masquerena. I cannot imagine that he is going to use its effect.
That would be interesting. Yeah, just immediately linking away your Herald.
It would be too easy with a Herald. Let's go into SP Little Knight and banish.
We do indeed instantly negate the activation of the prison there. Normal summoning out the Rakea. Rakea would be big enough to attack over the IP Masquerena here, which could be scary.
Interestingly, these Unchained monsters are very annoying for the Herald.
Yeah,
because if you negate and destroy, then there's another effect that you then have to negate afterwards.
That's true, indeed. So Riccardo, I think, is just asking that. He's asking him, if I do negate and destroy that, is it going to activate its effect, or could it activate its effect? And that indeed is the case, as you were just saying. So I think you just wait for him to resolve the effect, and then in the graveyard you can still negate the trap effect. But no, we do negate it with the Herald of the... No, we don't negate it with the Herald of the Orange Light, but we discard that for the effect of the Herald of Perfection there.
And now we are going to see the effect of Archaea activated, right?
It should, yeah. It definitely should. Perfection is destroying, right? Just confirming
I mean,
that.
it's in the graveyard now. It would be really strong if it negated the effect. But oh, we are also negating the grave effect right here.
Wow.
But I really like the line that you suggested earlier to just negate the trap card effect or the spell card effect in the graveyard that Archaea wanted to destroy.
For sure.
Can Herald negate effects of trap cards?
Let me just
that's
see.
also a very good point.
Because some older cards, they often negate spells and traps.
You can't. You only on activation of cards. That is the issue there. So Riccardo kind of was forced to do this here. And now Kazalac is going to look at the top 6 cards of his deck through Product of Prosperity and find plenty of ways to still keep on playing. In general, the field that Riccardo created there with the IP Masquerena and the Herald is kind of weird because you have that super, super powerful monster on the field and you have IP Masquerena, which would need to link this one away, which he's going to do now. He's giving it up and we are bringing out the Aspie Little Knight there.
Okay, that is rather interesting to me, because now if a Shavara is being picked up, you can just as well chain the Shavara if the trap card is supposed to be banished.
Yeah, that's true. So we are going to take the Dark Contract there. That has been a popular package in the Unchained deck. We are playing that little Dark Contract package, the DDD package. Ooh, SP. He pointed towards SP, but...
It might just be saying he's activating the effect.
Oh, okay, yeah, just to banish, of course, yeah. We are going to banish the... Yep, it is the trap. It is Escape of the Unchained, so we at least managed to get rid of that. But there is still the card we just added, the card I just mentioned, the Dark Contract.
It's gonna get out the Requiem. Requiem.
Yeah, the Vice King has been added.
This is such a powerful card going second as well. Just summons a big monster without needing any normal summon, any commitment really. You just put it in the spell and trap card zone and then you turn it into a... I don't even know the name of the big DDD monster anymore, and I shouldn't have said that.
I mean, yeah, I think we needed to respond to that, because now we can just run over the SP. We should have responded to the effect in the scale, because this does not activate. You can just put Video's Machinex on top of it. It's a regular Exceed summon, basically, and now we have a big monster on the field which can deal with the SP, and also is a threat to our opponent in the next turn as an interruption. So that really, that SP didn't put in too much work. Yes, we managed the escape of the Unchained, but still we let our opponent get to this point here.
Are you able to banish SP by itself? Because there was no other monsters when...
You can, okay. Absolutely.
Part of the strength of SP Little Knight, it just works by itself, all alone, still an interruption. Getting rid of 2 cards.
Oh no, wait, but you have to target 2 monsters. Yeah, you're right, Tom. You need to target 2 monsters for the second effect. The first one can banish anything, but you do need to target 2 monsters.
Is SP not a monster?
Yeah, but there was
no monster on the other side of the field.
That's what you mean.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it needed.
Oh, but I mean, then we kind of had to do. Yeah, no, there was no really good timing.
You have to return the card as well. Yeah, that's a good point.
There was no really good timing to do that, honestly. Kazalac played that kind of nicely. Not gonna lie.
There's another escape, just a set. Now it's going to be destroyed, and now we're just going for our full combo. I don't even think that Riccardo has any follow-up anymore.
I mean, normally you want to rely on Alpha and Beta and so on in the graveyard, but he just didn't have access to any of those. So it is really rough.
Now we're going into a Yama right here, and Shavara was used for that. Yama is going to be used as well. This is a lot of advantage that Kazalac is going to build up right here.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see basically it's sort of full first turn combo, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it for sure. So, Kazalac from Croatia trying to come here to Italy and defeating the plenty of Italian players that are attending this event. Even in the feature match, you have seen that there is really a lot of them competing here this weekend, which is not really a surprise, but Croatia right around the corner from Italy, so wasn't that far of a ride for him probably, and he's also doing really, really well here in this tournament and also here in this game 1. Shayama going to get into the circle there as well, being summoned over one of his Unchained effects. And that's all looking really, really good right now for Kazalac. He's enjoying himself.
Then we have the Unchained Soul of Rage now. Going to set that one by using Zarama, I suppose. and we're going to easily add back a card, the Shavara off of the Unchained Soul of Rage. Are we going to activate the Yama off of that? No, we are going into another Shayama, and we're destroying the Sarama. Sarama now being able to trigger and summon out another Shavara from the deck if you want to go into the next DDD monster.
And that apparently is the plan. There is the second rank 6, level 6 monster, and that is going to result in DDD Wave King High Caesar, which is a rank 6 van, of course.
Interestingly, there's not that many effects that special summon. I think all of the Drytrons are inherent summons.
No, they definitely do activate.
Oh, they do activate?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
well, I'm glad you told me. I was completely wrong on that.
And I mean, also, you can just go after Drytron Nova and stuff, so I think there are definitely a lot of applications. Cyber Emergency, though, one of the cards you cannot do anything about.
Yeah, if you try to negate it, the opponent is still going to get a search off of that, because it's one of the cards that states if the activation is negated, then you can get another effect. I don't think that Ash Blossom work. I think it is solely the activation that has to be negated.
Ash Blossom does work on Cyber Emergency, yeah, for sure.
What a good card.
That's like a really unique thing. I don't think any other cards are like, if their activation is negated, they just do something else.
Yeah. But that's how Cyber Emergency is worded, for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering if there's any other cards that have that kind of effect.
Not really, most likely. It's pretty unique in that, you're right. So we did resolve the Cyber Emergency, but the thing is, like, we only have 2 cards in hand, and like all of our Drytron monsters in the graveyard require to discard something. Look, yeah, there. Oh, okay. We are discarding the Alpha for the effect of Delta, and that's just immediately going to be negated.
And now the Shavara is being detached.
All right, so next on the list. Anything else left in the tank for Riccardo? One more card. Is it going to help him? Is he going to do something? Ooh. It is triple tactic talent, so that's the start. Is he going to take the Caesar, making himself a Zeus maybe? Is that the way to go? Or what is he trying here? Is he trying to go for a Destiny draw too?
I mean, he kind of has to, right? I mean, I gotta read the escape again, but if he tries to take over the monster with talents, you can just use escape, destroy the talents.
Yeah, and then Yama and the graveyard triggers, and you're not really in a position where you can do anything anymore. I do agree. I think you have to draw here. And Riccardo looks like he's also realizing exactly that.
Maybe he could look at Kazalac's hand just to throw everyone off.
just to see what's left there.
But no, just take from the hand.
Oh, yeah, he wants to draw. He realizes that is his only way to maybe get back into this game. And I mean, he's playing cards like Kurikara in his main deck, so you could just get rid of the Caesar like that and then have another Drytron monster, maybe a Benton from the top, and that could be really good there.
Riccardo looks like there is a way for him to play. I think there was one spell card. This might be the Preparation of Rites, one of the best ritual cards.
There is the Kurikara I was just talking about! Goodbye, Caesar! Kurikara now on the field. That's huge. Doesn't activate, can just tribute the Caesar. That's very strong. Activate, of course, the effect of Shavara there in the graveyard. Oh no, we activate the effect of Caesar actually to search up a contract instead.
I am getting flashbacks from YCS London, where Samir Bashar went for 2 Kurikaras.
Oh my, look at that!
It is the Preparation of Rites. That is the best 2 cards that he could have drawn. There is no way for Kazalac to destroy something right now. I think he has multiple cards in hand, so maybe there is a Shavara as a follow-up. I'm pretty sure there is a Shavara as follow-up.
The annoying thing, though, is that the ritual spell that was used last turn was banished through its own effect. Therefore, we cannot add it back anymore with the Preparation of Rites. That's a little bit of an issue here. So only adding the Benton, which is pretty good still, though.
Yeah, you have an Alpha in the graveyard, if I remember correctly, and now you can profit off of that Benton effect, tributing it from hand, basically. Or is it Delta?
Did he activate the Alpha already?
There is the Alpha. No, we discarded it to activate the effect of something else, which was negated then. And now the Alpha is free to activate its effect, and is also resolving, apparently. So we are going to search with Alpha and then also search with Benton, and all of a sudden, with 1 card left in hand, it looked almost unwinnable, but Riccardo coming back into this game, like, majorly. I think he has a good shot at coming back and maybe even sealing the deal here this turn.
Well, you have to not count out the Unchained deck. You've always got, there might be we know there's an escape, but there might be a Chamber face down as well, or a Shavara in hand. There's so much you can, like, you think you've got through it, and then it just seems to come back out of nowhere.
I think actually there is a lot of interruption right here, because the card on the left from Kazalac should be the Chamber.
Yeah.
You can't activate it right now, but you have Shavara in hand last turn as follow-up from the Link 2. You can activate Shavara, pop that set card, you can summon out the big Unchained monster. I'm getting confused with the names now. That pops something.
Abominable Unchained Soul.
Abominable, exactly. You also have the Yama in the graveyard as well, with the Soul. So there is a lot you can do, and of course the Escape as well.
And look at that, we are searching for Choju, which is a pretty unusual card, because this card is really supposed to be tribute summoned. You rarely see a level 6 monster being tributed in nowadays Yu-Gi-Oh! But I mean, we have not normal summoned yet, so we may as well. And then on the summon of Choju, if this card is summoned, you can add 1 ritual monster and 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hands.
I just want to see what the next iteration of this, the level 8, I don't know how many hands it's going to have. Because it started with 1,000 and then 10,000, now we have 1 trillion.
Yeah, and we're immediately going for a pop 2 right here, Abominable Unchained Soul, and as well the Escape of the Unchained to get rid of the Kurikara, and as well the Alpha, of course, that you can't tribute anything. And there is the fist bump. We're going into game 2. Kazalac convincingly winning this, being completely unfazed by a Herald of Perfection that negated 3 cards, and he was like, hey, dude, I have 3 more, I can just win this now.
That was it. Still, like, having 2 negates for that 1 effect there, or for that 1 card, basically, because you negated the on-field effect and also the graveyard effect. Did that really feel worth it?
Tough matchup.
I think we should have just waited, right? Let him do some more stuff, and then maybe he at some point links up into the Rage or something, and you can still negate that. But it really, really felt heartbreaking to negate that once on the field and then in the graveyard, when you only have 3 negates in total, right?
Yeah, it's tricky. Just sometimes the older cards, they just don't match up in exactly the way you want against, you know, these newer Unchained cards that have 2 effects, I guess.
Yeah,
so
like it doesn't seem like a great matchup overall. What would you think? Because he's 4 on the tournament, of course. What would be good matchups for Drytron in general in the current metagame?
So first of all, I wanted, you said these newer cards. Is Drytron younger or older than Aruha? Because those Unchained cards have been around for a while.
They have been around for a while, that's for sure. That's a good question, actually. So Aruha was reprinted in the Megatins 2020. So it must have been, it is definitely a while ago. And all the Drytron cards, they came from Genesis Impact. So when was Genesis Impact? That's now the question we have to figure out. When was Genesis Impact released? Maybe the people at home can tell us in the chat which was newer or which was released earlier. And I'm honestly not sure myself.
Well, one thing we can agree on is the Herald of Perfection.
That's the oldest one.
Which is the card I was talking about, is older than all of these.
That is a good point.
For sure, for sure. But now, let's see whether Riccardo actually can set up more than he did in the first game. Because IP Masquerena plus the Herald of Perfection did not seem that impressive. He's not bringing in anything crazy from the side deck to support his going first strategy, because he already obviously feels pretty confident. One card that he might decide to side in is Artifact Lancea, to be honest, because Artifact Lancea takes out the Prosperity, which every Unchained player plays. Also, it takes out the Yama interaction in the graveyard. So I think Lancea, because you can search it, might be something to go for to then activate immediately in the standby phase. Just guessing, though.
That is very cool. I hadn't realized you could search. So I was wondering what the 1 copy was hanging about doing. But the fact that you can search it is a very cool interaction.
Yeah, for
All right,
sure.
guys. So what's also very cool is that Game 2 is about to start. So let's head over to the table. The players are ready.
But honestly, looking at the side deck of Kazalac, his options against the Drytron strategy are plenty. He's not only side decking the main enemy Droll and Lockbird for the deck, but also Dimension Shifter as well. So he's prepared. 3 copies of both of that. Not really what Riccardo likes to see. And Riccardo also is shaking his head. But, I mean, starting off with Foolish Burial doesn't seem too bad. And that seems like there is no Dimension Shifter, because I believe we would have changed the Dimension Shifter there right away.
Yeah, you might hold it for a little bit longer, you know.
Just to play around the Gamma, the one on Gamma, cheeky one, which you cannot really even use in Drytron because you're not allowed. Oh, wait, can you? No, you cannot.
No. You
cannot summon out the driver.
You cannot special summon out, or you can summon out the driver, you can't summon out the Gamma. You cannot special summon monsters that can't be normal summoned.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a thing I definitely knew.
Great. Okay,
5 minutes ago.
there we go. So it seems like Riccardo has a better setup this time, to be honest. He got a way to bring one of his desired Drytron monsters into the graveyard. He now also has access to Benton.
Let's play Guess the Drytron name now.
Is that the first search we are doing? I think so, right? So Drone and Lockbird would need to come down here, but Kazalac is just enjoying himself, not really looking like he wants to interact with Riccardo at all. I think Kazalac is just all laid back right now, one game up. Let's see what my opponent does here, and having a good time. Okay, so Meteonis Drytron, the other ritual spell of the deck, has been added to the hand.
Looking good so far, I want to say. I don't know where he wants to go with this combo, but I mean, the last field was kind of impressive already. However, 3 negates was just not enough. But we are able to go for a normal summon right here.
Yeah, Shoju of the Trillion Hands is being added to his hand as he had a last game. But last game it was a little too late. But now setting up the field, getting more and more stuff into his hand before his opponent has the chance to play is going to be a huge advantage. And therefore, Shoju here is, I think, way more impactful than it was in the last game.
Activate Domain of the True Monarchs. Let's go. Also, Jojo is kind of nice because it is a level 6 monster already, so you can immediately tribute it for the Herald.
Absolutely is. I definitely do agree. And honestly, like that IP Masquerena just did not seem great. So giving up 2 monsters for IP Masquerena or giving it up for Choju to extend your stuff even further and then maybe even go later into the IP Masquerena just seems so much better. But first of all, we're going for one of the original Exceed monsters of the deck. We're going for Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir, which will be able to send 1 monster from the deck to the graveyard, and we have decided on good old Drytron Meteonis Draconids. I did not expect him to send that one, honestly.
Yeah, Drytron's very unique in that they summon ritual monsters using attack rather than combined levels. So you're using 2 level 1s to make a level 12, which is pretty cool.
As long as the level 1s have 2000 attack, that's perfectly fine. So we are going to tribute the Benton right here for a tribute summon.
That's even better, because now we get to trigger Choju and the Benton, and there's an impermanence on the Choju. But honestly, if you ask me personally, I would say Riccardo is fine with that impermanence. Of course, he cannot get the search effect off of Shoju there, but his setup already looks kind of nice, and you are happy with your opponent having less cards in his hand, so you don't have to negate that much anymore.
The question is, are you able to get to the Herald?
I would hope so.
Because I think that was the play that was supposed to get the Herald out for him.
Well, I mean, we have Benton. We can search it right now, right here.
You just have to have a ritual spell to summon the Herald.
We already added back the Meteonis Drytron, so that would be a possibility, right?
Yep.
Let's see.
I've never seen somebody tribute away the Benton for a tribute summon to get its effect. That's really fun.
Yeah. It's really good too, though. Okay, but we do not go for the Herald. We do instead... I mean, we do go for a Herald, but not the Herald we were expecting. This is Herald of Orange Light once again being added.
A Herald, but not the Herald.
Exactly.
But maybe
enough of a Herald here.
A few formats ago, this was the Herald.
Indeed, yeah. Okay, we have Meteonis Drytron. We added it back, reducing the attack points of Beta Fafnir, so this is only 1,000 now. But what are we going to ritual summon out here? Riccardo doesn't seem sure himself there. What are we going for? Are we just going to summon out the Draconids, maybe? Oh, look, we are using 2 monsters from our hands. 2 Drytron monsters, but one of them is Gamma, so we can get more monsters out of the Gamma in the graveyard now. And we indeed are going to summon out the Draconids.
But we haven't decided on the attack or defense position yet. That is still to be found out.
We're in between, but it has been decided. It is the attack position, and Kazalac immediately grabbed his cards in hand. Like he has put them down to the table, but as soon as the summon was made, he kind of grabbed them back up. So I'm kind of expecting an Ibiru here, maybe. Is that a thing? Is he going to have that too?
I'm just peering at his hand now, but my eyes aren't sharp enough to see whether it's there.
Same, to be honest.
I think I saw a Shayama, I thought Escape, which is already halfway a decent start into the game. I mean, the Escape at least.
Yeah, exactly. But Shayama is really not that great.
Really do anything.
You were confusing me for a second there, because obviously they have quite similar names, the Unchained, and I was like, is Shayama not the one I think it is?
No, it is definitely the one.
Okay, Riccardo, what else you got? There's another ritual monster in his hand. So I think we have the Herald of the Orange Light and another ritual monster, but we do, first of all, go... Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Idartan that he has in his hand. That's a card that people normally don't really play, but Cyber Angel Idartan is a card that Riccardo decided to play, and he's now revealing it for the effect of Drytron Delta Altace to draw an additional card, and he did pick up Triple Tactic Talons. If that impermanence would have been an effect Vela, it would have been so much better for Riccardo here. But Kazalac did not play into Talons here just yet.
Also, very interesting, I want to mention that Draconitz is so good against Unchained, because it sends monsters to the graveyard. It can send, I think, 2 at once. You can banish 2,000 or 4,000 attack points of monsters. Attack points worth of monsters, it's interesting. And target 1 card for each 2,000 attack points, and then send them to the graveyard. So you can play around.
Yes.
You can play around the good old Unchained monsters.
For sure, that sounds a lot better. So maybe Riccardo just didn't even want to go for Herald of the Perfection here, because he decided Draconitz is actually a better interruption versus the Unchained strategy. And now we also do go for Linkuriboh. We have IP Masquerena, so another way to go into the SP Little Knight again, as we did in the first game. So this looks decent. I'm fine with this.
I also love Linkuriboh plus IP Masquerena. I don't know if there's a way to get another monster on the field for him later on, but just to have the option to say, hey, you can't just summon a monster and threaten to go battle phase to run over the IP Masquerena. I have the Linkuriboh right here.
Yeah, that's pretty decent. Okay, but Kazalac,
It's a pass?
normally you would think is just passing, setting one and then maybe going for a pass, but no, it is a set one, and that's a start for the Unchained strategy, because we can just now activate, for example, Shavara in the hand to target this card and then maybe destroy it, triggering the effect in the graveyard, of course.
It definitely plays with your hopes a bit when they just set one and you think, oh, are they going to pass now?
Nope, it's not happening versus Unchained. They are going to do something, and in this case, we are going to activate the effect of Unchained Twins, Aruha.
The question is, when are you using your Draconitz? Your
Honestly, yeah, it's Draconitz, but I think you just go after the first two monsters they have.
Right?
Yeah, just go after them, get rid of them, and hope it's enough. That's my approach to that, but maybe it's just me.
I mean, the thing is, as soon as there's a Yama on the field, there's already a lot of value on the side of Kazalac. However, I mean, what's happening after the Yama? I think you can let them go for Yama and then another monster and then send those away?
Potentially, yeah. But now Riccardo is also asking himself the same question, because now there is the Aruha and also the Rakea. So are we immediately trying to go after this? Problem with the Rakea, though. So Rakea has a quick effect, so you can't really do it here again.
Yeah. This looks like threatening battle phase now. Could be a good idea.
Yep, I like it too.
I like this a lot, to be honest.
You can't really let your opponent go into the battle phase, because there's a lot of tricks you can get up to with the Unchained deck using Rakea.
Okay, so we do go for IP Masquerena at the end of the main phase, summoning out SP Little Knight again. And I mean, of course we are going to activate the effect, but most likely Kazalac is going to respond to that. And then we have to think whether we want to respond to that again with Draconitz, still making sure to banish both of them.
I mean, I think after that you can wait, right?
Or maybe wait, you can just chain the other effect of SP Little Knight, right? You can just go for the first effect of SP Little Knight and then go for the other effect of SP Little Knight to make sure the card that Kazalac is targeting is going to be banished. I like that a lot, honestly. SP Little Knight is accomplishing quite a bit here.
As it is supposed to, one of the best cards we have in the game right now.
Indeed. Age of Overlord really brought us a gem there. Yep, exactly. So SP Little Knight doing the job, banishing itself as well, and banishing the Rakea. Great stuff. And we still have the Draconitz. I love this. Oh no, not Dark Contract again. Uh-oh, that was trouble for Riccardo in game 1 already. Is it going to be trouble again?
When are you allowed to use Draconitz? Is it any time? You can just use it
pretty sure it's a quick effect, yeah.
Yeah, it is a quick effect. I'm just saying that now with full confidence. Yeah, during your opponent's turn. Okay, all right, that is probably any time. Just not on your own. So that's important, but not for this turn, because it is the opponent's turn, in fact.
Ooh, we go after the Dark Contract. So Riccardo had problems with it last game, and he doesn't want to see that happening again.
To be fair, isn't that...
the judge maybe said you are not... and Riccardo does not like this normal summon. Tour Guide of the Underworld coming to the field. And does Riccardo have another fairy?
Yes,
he has to. Herald of the Orange Light is going to negate that. And Kazalac is picking up his cards. Equalizer has been accomplished. Riccardo takes down game number 2. Drytron still going strong in 2023. That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really cool game. I loved seeing the interactions. The Little Knight really put in so much work.
I was feeling a little bit pitiful for Riccardo after the first game. I was thinking,
a little.
okay, hey, Herald of the Perfection is such a good card and it helps against so many matchups. But in this one, it just seems like the deck will be overpowered by Unchained. But he just had it was just the problem that he went blind first, so he didn't put out his Dragonets. He has a perfectly valid strategy against the deck. This was fantastic. It was a really good hand that Kazalac had.
For sure, for sure. And I think going second, even though the Drytron strategy is known for a very, very strong combo deck and for having a super, super good field to set up going first, I really like the deck going second as well, because you are putting up a lot of monsters, you have plenty of ways to summon and summon and summon. You get into Exceed monsters very easily, so it's basically a quick way into Zeus most of the time. And Zeus, as we know, is sending cards to the graveyard, and that's the phrase we're looking for when we play versus the Unchained deck, and therefore I think there's a way for Riccardo to even have a good time here going second.
Yeah, I'll be really excited to see how this pans out, because we've seen Riccardo, he's playing the underdog deck, took him 2 tries to win going first, and now he's got to beat the harder level, which is going second.
Totally.
Also, interesting, we said this earlier, Dragonets cannot send monsters from the opposing field to the graveyard on your own turn, so that makes it significantly harder to break a field going second.
Yeah, but let me give you a card in his side deck that would do the same thing on your own turn as well. How about Ultimate Slayer coming in from the side deck? I mean, you are playing Exceed monsters, Fusion monsters, Synchro monsters. You play all that kind of stuff in your side deck, Link monsters, of course, as well. And therefore, Ultimate Slayer, I think, is a really good card to bring in. And additionally, it's a normal spell which you can add off Triple Tactics Thrust, which he's also siding in. So I think he has plenty of access to Ultimate Slayer. And I think that might be one of the cards he is looking forward to in this game here.
The Ultimate Slayer is one of my favorite field-breaking cards ever since it came out. I really liked it. It didn't find its way into the metagame for quite some time. There was also Kashtira Arisat, which was a problematic card for the Ultimate Slayer, because you have to send as cost, and that is simply not possible if everything that would be sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So that was a problem. Now that Kashtira Arisat is not in the meta anymore, Ultimate Slayer is a very powerful tool. If you don't need specifically 15 extra deck cards, you can include some different cards in there as well to be very flexible with this card.
Yeah, I mean, and for Drytron, it just works out naturally, right? Because you are playing Link monsters, Exceed monsters, Synchro monsters, just as part of your strategy. So
sending Herald against Synchro.
Yeah, like all of the cards are great. Like there's multiple things you just want to send to the graveyard, and they're doing perfectly fine. One card that could answer that, though, that's coming in most likely, even certainly from a side deck for Kazalac, is going to be good old Anti-Spell Fragrance. Yeah, versus spell cards, but obviously the answer you're looking forward to, the card you want to side going first, and the card that Kazalac wants to draw or add off Pot of Prosperity here, most likely, I think.
One card I'm really looking forward to seeing is Cyber Angel Natasha.
Ooh.
Just like that's such a cool
good
way
going second.
to
really good.
Break fields going second. It's so unique as well. You have to ritual summon it first, so it's allowed to special summon itself out from the graveyard. But then you can just start taking monsters from your opponent's field. I think that's really fun.
Okay, so we talked about it a lot. We have a lot of different theories on how this is going to go down, but we are going to see in practice now Game 3 of our Round 5 featured match.
Alright, here we go, Game 3. It all comes down to this in Round 5 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series here in Bologna 2023. And we are immediately starting strong on Kazalac's side with the Tour Guide of the Underworld.
That is absolutely the start you want to have with the Unchained deck.
Ringing out good old Rhino Warrior, yeah.
It's pretty much like most of the combos are 2-card combos, and this is pretty much 2 cards in one, because you get the 2 monsters, one of which gets you the Shavara as well. So this is an absolutely beautiful start, especially when it goes uninterrupted.
Yeah. It's crazy to me, because when the new wave of Unchained support was released in the beginning, players didn't pick up on the Tour Guide technology just yet. So people were playing it without the Tour Guide package at first, and now the card is just the best card of the entire deck, honestly.
Easily.
You can dodge cards like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler with just the effect of Shavara. Ash Blossom is a little bit more difficult. We have experienced it a lot of the time already, that if Tour Guide gets Ash, you might not have follow-up if you didn't draw a lot of engine. But just one-card combos that lead to big fields are just insane. Yeah, it's incredible.
I do agree. So there is going to be Unchained Soul of Rage. And we are going to use... Oh yeah, we are going to reset the trap first of all. Fair enough.
Also, if you're unsure what Kazalac is doing right now, we also have maybe a little combo tutorial. You have seen one already so far with Jessica. We might have one ready for Unchained, huh?
Oh, we might, we might.
I couldn't possibly say.
Okay.
How would you know, Dom?
All right,
exactly.
but Kazalac already having 2 level 6 monsters on the field again. That, of course, is going to be an indicator for another Exceed summon. And yep, there it is. We are going to go for the DDD Wave Hiking Caesar once more. Oh, he almost summoned in attack position, but then he quickly decided defense position it is. Oh, and I think, is he going to pass on this? It seems like it.
Maybe this time the Drawn Lockbird will make an appearance.
Yeah, there must be still a lot of good cards in his hand, because this setup is just one set card, and that set card probably isn't even anti-spell fragrance, because you kind of need the trap to the chamber to bring back the rage here, I would assume. Oh, instant fusion!
Oh,
And I mean,
okay.
instant fusion is a card... He did not negate the instant fusion, no? We just did not negate the instant fusion, and therefore we have the opportunity to bring out the Millennium Ice Restrict here.
Excuse me? Millennium Eye is, of course, a very powerful card, but I was absolutely sure that you would try to negate this. Maybe he's trying to play around Triple Tactic Talents, but I mean, the deck plays around Triple Tactic Talents quite well, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's just some sort of mind game. You know, if your opponent just confidently activates a spell, you can just negate, and you just say, oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so next up we're going to activate the effect of Alpha, tributing Alpha, and that is being met, I think, with the effect of Caesar,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he knows it's there. We have settled the debate. Kazalac knows he has the Caesar.
Yep, okay, we're chaining it.
Maybe he just prefers to negate the Drytron monsters.
Yeah, maybe also he doesn't have a hand interaction, so he doesn't really care about the Millennium Ice Restrict.
No, I can definitely see there's a Drawn Lockbird in his hand.
Oh, alright.
Maybe he just wasn't expecting Millennium Ice Restrict.
Yeah, that is also a possibility.
But what would be another fusion monster you're going to summon out with instant fusion?
Elder Entity Norton. I don't think so. No.
I don't think so either.
It's on the Forbidden Limited list, and it's on the Forbidden side.
Yep. Okay, so... Shavara coming down.
I like this. So Millennium Ice Restrict would prevent the Shavara in hand from doing anything.
Yeah.
Once it resolves, but if you chain it, obviously, then it can still activate.
But now
Yeah.
the Drawn Lockbird is open, right?
Yes.
Alright.
Alright, okay. We are banishing the Yama. Of course, activating its effect to bring back Rage now as well. At this point, we're not playing around Triple Tactic Talents anymore, of course.
So I think now Triple Tactic Talents to take something would still be kind of strong, right?
Yeah,
Or would now be strong?
I mean, not really, right? Because you can not really comfortably take the Caesar. Oh wait, you can take Caesar and then you can even negate the Rage. That's kind of
Exactly.
cool.
Oh, we are
Oh,
going
but
in
there's
with the
Kurikara
Kurikara.
again. That's nice. Game 1 he had it. Game 3 again. Is it this time going to be the deciding factor of this game?
Gonna get the Dark Contract out right here. The question is, how much follow-up does Riccardo have? Because he has invested quite a lot of cards. I think there are 2 more cards in his hand. He used Instant Fusion, Kurikara, and 2 of the Drytrons. And now we're going to see a Unicorn.
Oh,
This got the Dark
Unicorn
Contract,
it is,
trying to
okay.
get rid of the Millennium Ice Restrict, and it works.
Well, you have to summon Unicorn because you can't. You can only summon Fiends this turn once you've used the effect of Shavara.
Yeah, you are right. No access to SP Little Knight there. And now Riccardo. What's left in his hand? He's laughing.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad sign.
Same, to be honest. Same.
He just seems to be having a good time all round. So
Which is fair enough. He's
Yeah.
4-0 in the tournament. He's having a featured match. I think his day could have gone worse. Oh, another Kurikara, tributing the Unicorn now.
Now the question is, can you find a way into another level? Oh,
And Triple Tactic Thrust! That's not too bad either! What are we getting here, though?
Oh, preparation of rights is a possibility. You have an unused Drytron effect in your graveyard, so you can fetch a Benton right there.
Either that, or maybe Drytron Nova, that's the top card, but I like preparations even better. I agree with you. That's a good one, for sure.
That one would be met by Drawn Lockbird then, for sure, right?
Yeah, so maybe if you want to play around Drawn Lockbird, just go for the Nova instead, then.
I don't think you can play around Drawn Lockbird at all in this situation, right? You can't just play with one card.
Oh, but he does go for the Nova,
Wow.
which is good for him, because honestly, he can still at least set up a Zeus here with this.
No, he has indeed got 2 level 1s.
Yeah, you can just use the Kurikara as one of the materials there. Okay, Nova is being activated, bringing him another Drytron monster immediately to the field. Straight up special summoning it, and we go for the Zeta.
Now this could be a big Beta Fafnir turn, a big Zeus turn. Probably down.
Yeah, Mubeta Fafnir, of course, also going to send more stuff to the graveyard.
Yeah, the thing is, what do you attack over? I think you can safely attack over Shavara.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
There's no other, because if you attack Aruha, then you could get met with Abominable Unchanged Soul.
Then you're in trouble, yeah.
Deck.
Then you're definitely in trouble. You shouldn't do that for sure.
Shavara was already activated this turn, so there's no follow-up cards that are...
But I mean, there's also Downed Magician in the extra deck of Riccardo, so we can go for Zeus with 4 materials, and therefore we can get rid of the cards that are already there, and then we still have a Zeus sent for next turn, so that's cool. Oh, okay. We can get the... Meteonis. Oh, what are we attacking? That was a wild attacking move there. That Mubeta Fafnir was flying all over the field of Kazalac, but we decided to run over the Shavara there. Okay, there's Downert. And of course, the beautiful ultimate rare Zeus.
Can you say the entire name just by heart? Don't look at the card.
Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. Sky Thunder it is, of course. How would I not know that?
Definitely did not look at your screen first.
Need the full effect as well.
Let's not read it out now. Okay, but that's good. That's good. That's what I was saying. Oh, he does not even go for the first Zeus effect, so he just wants to keep both of them for the opponent's turn.
I quite like this, actually, because there's really no need. The Aruha can't really do anything.
Oh, okay. Rakea, first of all.
I'm not sure if there was no need for it, because now if you have the... Alright, the Aruha destroys something when... Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, this has been sort of punished by exactly Rakea, because now Abominable Unchained Soul.
But I mean, you can just chain now, because he's using the effect of Rakea. Yeah. You kind of have to chain here.
Definitely. I do agree on that, because otherwise, Abominable is going to punish you really hard. And we're going to detach the two cards that might be valuable in the graveyard, get rid of Aruha and Rakea. And Kazalac is... I mean, he has more cards, far more cards. He has 3 cards in hand.
Oh, and he has the contract.
Oh, yeah, he discarded 1, but he had another one in hand already.
Okay, contract wants to search out the Vice King again.
Dark contract with the gate.
And Riccardo really thinking about this. Do we have to respond? And yes, he decides that it is time to use the second effect of Zeus, and so Zeus now left with 0 materials, and Kazalac with 2 cards in hand. Is there anything else he can extend with? 3.5 minutes left on this. Is it going to go back to Riccardo, or does Kazalac have something else?
Kazalac, this is not a drill. You need to set a card now and then activate Shavara from hand.
Oh, he's setting a monster.
But he used Rakea already.
Yeah, we normal summoned already. Yeah. There was a normal summon, so there is not going to be the chance to set a monster.
The thing is, what can Riccardo do? He really needs to draw into something that can be discarded or tributed,
basically. There's plenty of cards, to be honest. Yeah,
but if he doesn't draw one of those, if he draws into an Impermanence or a Herald of the... that would kind of work as well, right? If he draws into something that he cannot discard, then he might be in trouble. But other than that, this looks good for him.
But there's another card that he can set as well. So the monster, of course, didn't work, but what is this? Oh, it's anti-spell fragrance. It must have been the draw for turn, because otherwise that would have been on the field. Yeah. Oh, and there is one of the newest addition to also almost every single one's extra deck. That is going to be the new Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, and that's indeed a pretty good answer. And yeah, we did summon the Downer, we did summon the Mubeta Fafnir, and of course the Zeus, so the requirements for the summon of the Typhon were definitely met there.
Getting some valuable damage in there as well. 2 minutes on the clock. This is looking grim for Riccardo right now because of the Superstar Slayer Typhon. We thought this was going to be a pass, but Kazalac found a way to summon another monster and just went with the... Oh, we're going
the
to
Lightning Storm is going to trade. That's funny.
Oh. But we have a pass here, we have the Meteonis. This draw wouldn't have even helped him. This would have given Kazalac another turn just with 3,000 damage on the side of Riccardo. So we're going to see another set card. Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing?
I think it's another anti-spell fragrance. I'm calling it.
Oh, but he can use the Shayama.
Oh no, this time it's impermanence. Okay, okay.
But it is still a Shayama on the field, and we're getting really close to enough damage to win the game for Kazalac. Riccardo is at 2,100 life points now and needs to really draw something. He really needs to find a way to deal damage at that quickly.
Do we think he was just attacking for 2,000?
Yeah,
you
we were
prefer
in the battle phase.
to infinite impermanence? You'd rather just have a 2,000 attack monster? So what's he going to do?
Reasonable question, honestly. Reasonable question to ask. I do agree. That is, he did that so quickly too, right? He just wanted the Shayama on the field. He didn't want to be without anything to protect him from the next attacks of Riccardo, potentially. And now Riccardo, this draw is very important. This draw may turn it around, but he just had some monster. And it goes back over to Kazalac. So that was probably just some kind of hand interaction, maybe an Ash Blossom or something that he picked up there.
Okay, and now what are we going to draw on Kasalac's side? He is checking his extra deck. There might be a possibility to summon something. Is there another fiend that he can normal summon?
He just go into the battle phase. Oh, it was Herald. It was Herald.
It was the Herald normal summon of the Droland Lockbird, and now we are going into a Link 1 or Link 2. Can we actually do something? Oh, we're going to the Unchained Soul of Rage.
Is it right that Riccardo dropped down to 100 life points? Because he shouldn't have taken damage there, right?
No. I mean, for all it matters.
Oh, Cyber Emergency Bow has been picked up. So Riccardo has a chance to play. With 30 seconds left on the clock, he has to be quick. So, come up with something, Riccardo, please.
This is something that could add up in an OTK with a filled graveyard. We are going to search out the Delta. I hope it is the Delta, at least. It is absolutely not.
Nope, it's Gamma. This one's Gamma.
Thank you so much.
And then we use the effect of Alpha in the graveyard, discarding the Gamma. And yeah, we resolve the Alpha first. Sure. But Kazalac already indicating that he wants to unresolve, use the effect to get rid of the Alpha and the Rage itself. And SP Little Knight also joining the party.
Yeah. SP Little Knight now looking at the graveyard of his opponent, banishing something off of it, because SP Little Knight can just do that quite easily. Now deciding on a target. There is still the Benton in the hand. Benton can be discarded. Another special summon, another search, but will it be enough? The time is over and Kazalac wins that game versus Riccardo.
Still, very great showing of Riccardo, but Kazalac comes out on top, winning it with the very popular Unchained strategy. Our colleagues in the last round had a look at the metagame breakdown. Unchained, the most popular deck of the weekend, right? But it was very close with Rescue A, so we're both sitting up top there.
Yeah, I think they said it was joint first. So, I mean, that was a really intense game. Like, I love situations where both players are down to like one card each. You're just drawing off the top, seeing what happens. It was crazy to see, and that Shayama, like, just attacking your opponent with a 2,000 monster more than once seems like an unreasonable thing to do. But
those are the moments where your heart just starts beating very, very quickly. When you're like, oh God, please, this card be something. Please, let me win with this card. And then you draw a Herald of the Orange Light, and that's absolutely not the card you were looking for in that moment. But let's assume he would have had more time. Was there a way for him to keep on going here to maybe get into this game again?
I mean, Sebastian, you are asking the right people because we are absolute Drytron experts.
Cool. So go ahead then.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, to be fair, the Gamma was still in the graveyard, and we searched for Banten, so that's already like a pretty... Yeah, that's a pretty... I mean, I think we got rid of the Zeta with the effect of SP Little Knight, but then...
there was also
as soon as he uses... Yeah, true. I think there was a way, honestly. I mean, the SP Little Knight still is an interruption, so it's not going to be easy, but I do think that there were a couple of ways to still keep on playing. The thing, though, is he didn't have Zeus in his extra deck anymore, so that would be the main card you kind of want to go for, but it wasn't there anymore, of course.
You can set up the Draconids after that turn. That is definitely possible, because there is an easy access to Mobeta Fafnir, and I think that this would have been a child's play for him to easily summon that monster. And in a scenario like this, it would be really, really good. Also, knowing that your opponent has already used the Typhon, a card that came out of nowhere. I mean, this is basically what the card is supposed to do, right?
Yeah, totally.
Just surprising your opponent, throwing them off guard, saying, hey, you played a little bit on your last turn, but I can just summon a big monster that punishes you for that.
I love Typhon because it's another one of those cards
you have to
that you just have to have in your mind all the time. You just need to know that this card exists and it does exist in a lot of extra decks. Like a bunch of players are running this card currently, and therefore it's just a format-defining card because it dictates the play style of all of the players around, and therefore I love those cards. Like Mystic Mine, I know people don't really love that card anymore that much, but it also was kind of doing the same thing. The existence of the card made people play differently, right?
Yeah, I think this is most comparable to the Zeus itself, right? It's something that lives.
Same.
It's a very generic XYZ. You can just summon it however you like. But now we can head over to Ed for a winner interview.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yes, I am here with Kazalac, who's just won that round 5 feature match here at YCS Bologna. So, how are you feeling having won that feature match?
Well, obviously, as you could see, the nervousness got the better of me in Game 3. So I still managed to scrape that win, though, even though I'm not that proud of my gameplay. But, you know, there's a saying in Croatia, trdo sprida, meko zada. We're just going to follow that quote till the end of the Swiss rounds this day.
That's what we like to hear. So, that's quite a tough thing to be put on the spot, put on the stage with. Have you done a feature match before, or was that your first?
No, this is my first feature match. It's so nice that I get to play against my opponent, who's a really cool guy, and he played a deck that I'm familiar with, so I didn't have to read all the cards, but it was something I didn't expect for the event, so yeah.
So you're playing Unchained, which is currently 12% of the deck breakdown of everyone here. The only thing that matches that is Rescue Ace. So what's made you go for Unchained? Is it because of the new support, obviously, in Duelist Nexus and stuff? Are you just feeling pretty confident with the deck?
Yeah, basically the new stuff made it relevant, and I always stick to the old faithful, you know, the consistent deck, the one that's gonna stick to me, be reliable for the long rounds. So yeah, I chose to play that, and it might be not the best choice for this event because it's so popular that people are so prepared for it, but it's the one I'm best with, so can't just pick up something new and learn it in a couple of days because I don't play test a lot.
Have you played any other Unchained mirror matches since you've been in the earlier rounds at all?
Yeah, 2 already. Yeah.
How did those go?
It went for me since I'm 4-0, so yeah, they went in my favor, yeah.
Were they a struggle?
Yeah, of course. It's always a struggle in the mirror match. It basically comes up to a resource and a grind game. Obviously, you can blow your opponent out with some types of cards, but when it comes to a grind, it's really going to be up to the last card.
Well, speaking of the last card, this game obviously went all the way down to time, but going through this, there were a lot of moments where it seemed like Riccardo had an upper hand. Like that Kurikara came out in a couple of games and outed Caesar in one, it outed Unicorn in the other. But when those happen, how are you able to keep cool and play around it?
Yeah, so game 1, when I saw Kurikara, I nearly pissed myself, to be honest.
Please don't say that on the stream. Apologies for that, everyone, but it's all right. Everyone's excited as part of the feature.
But yeah, Kurikara is something that's not that well represented in the meta, so obviously got Kurikara 3 times. It felt like a lot, but the good thing about the Unchained monsters, especially the Caesar, is that it floats. It doesn't have to be destroyed, so at least you get some value, some recuperation of it. And I'm playing the contract package, and in game 1, it really turned out valuable for me to get the contract.
Game 2, you couldn't really find a way around all that work that he laid out, so you just wanted to get into that game 3, is that right?
Yeah, game 2, I tried my best pushing into the board, but it just had way too much, and he used his disruptions really well, so I couldn't do much about it.
No worries, and then getting into 3, again, that was when the Kurikara came out against the Unicorn into the Triple Tactics Talon, but again, you managed to play around all that, it just wasn't enough. So what was going through your mind in game 3? Okay,
so game 3, my brain was complete mush. I didn't know what I was doing. I just let Instant Fusion resolve, even though I have Caesar on field, because I was super hyper-focused on some other cards. I meant to play around Kurikara as much as possible, get the maximum value from Caesar to negate the dry turn effects. But yeah, I managed to put up quite a board, and it eventually carried me out, even though I had a quite fortunate top deck war with my opponent.
Well, it all ended up working out for you. Congratulations. Is there anything that you're nervous about going up against? Possibly more of those Unchained mirror matches?
Well, now that everybody knows what I'm playing, I wouldn't like to face against Rescue Ace because I think it's a really tough grind game and it really comes down to the die roll. Especially game 1, it can get really die roll dependent.
Well, I guess we see what happens. Congratulations on your win. I hope the rest of the day goes well for you. Guys, stick around. We've got our next match coming up very, very soon. But before that, we're going to do a little bit of the newlywed